Good afternoon. I'm Pedro Hazel Jr.
Hi, I'm Steve Ferguson.
Welcome to another edition of Sportslines Plus. Today, we'll be discussing Pete Alonso, the NFL Divisional Playoffs, College Football Championship game, and our tribute to Bob Uecker. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. And the internet address is youtube.com/@Sportslines Plus. youtube.com/@Sportslines Plus. The Pete Alonso era in Queens has apparently come to an end. The Mets have seemingly moved on from the homegrown talent after the two sides were unable to come to a contract agreement. According to the Post, Joel Sherman, the Mets offered Alonso a 3-year deal between $68 and $70 million, which was rejected. The MLB insiders referred to the contract as a last-ditch effort to sign the polar bear. The Mets did not send a statement that the Alonso deal was done, but they have come to believe, without some unexpected late reversal, that is it. Sherman and Martin, that is Dan Martin from the New York Post report. Now, if this is the end of Alonso in Queens, it will go down as one of the best sluggers in Mets history. He has the third most home runs in franchise history with 226, just 26 shy of Darryl Strawberry's 252. Now, the Blue Jays have expressed interest in
Yes, they
Pete.
have.
And as for now, they will most likely move Mark Vientos from third to first base and now have Brett Beatty, Luis Angel Acuna, and Ronnie Mauricio battle out in spring training for the hot corner. What do you think about all this? This is crazy.
As far as I'm concerned, and you and I are both Met fans, this is one of the worst things that's happened to the Mets in years. Because, first of all, and I'm going to say it nicely, we signed Juan Soto and we paid him a ton of money.
Yeah.
And I thank Steve Cohen for doing it and getting involved. But what I'm going to say about David Stearns in 2 words, he is a cheap creep. And I will tell you why I say
That's
that.
really 5 words.
Well, but the 2 most important are cheap creep.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is, this man, first of all, Pete Alonso has 226 career home runs, as you said.
Yeah.
I was looking at Pete Alonso as the first New York Met outside of Tom Seaver, homegrown, who may have had a chance to hit 500 home runs. Okay, maybe he wouldn't have gotten there, but 450 is not impossible. This is a man who has averaged close to 40 home runs every year. Last year, 34 home runs, a little bit down, 88 RBIs. I understand 240 batting average, not exciting to hear. But we all remember that important home run he hit against Milwaukee, saving the Mets season. Forget the fact that they would have never played the Phillies. They would have never played the Dodgers without him, okay? And I'll tell you a couple of reasons I don't like David Stearns. David Stearns came from Milwaukee. That's an organization that, yes, they win, but have they won a championship? The answer is no.
They're a small market.
They're a small
Milwaukee.
market team. It's 7 years they were competitive with him. Fine. But in New York, we're trying to win a championship. And we were almost at the level of the New York Yankees when we signed Juan Soto. I thought they were going to sign Pete Alonso after that and say to the Yankees and their fan base, we are at your level now. We are a shade below the Dodgers. Well, now we have dropped down to the 3rd or 4th spot as far as I'm concerned. And I don't like what they did to Pete Alonso at all. It is ridiculous what they did to him. That's a warning, by the way, to anybody else who's thinking about coming to the New York Mets. You will have to deal with David Stearns because Steve Cohen, and we like him for what he did getting Juan Soto here, he's not getting involved. Well, guess what? This is one of the few times you'll hear me say, I wish the Mets had George Steinbrenner running this team. You know what he would have told David Stearns? Drop dead.
Yeah.
I am signing him 4 years, $200 million, and you're not getting involved in this at all. You know why? Because he wouldn't have cared about the stupid luxury tax. He has the money. He wants to win. He had a 5-year plan to do that. Pete Alonso should have been part of that plan.
Yes, I agree.
Now we're hearing rumors about Vladimir Guerrero coming here.
Sure.
Okay, that's fine, but God only knows what we have to give up for him.
Oh, Lord. We'll probably have to pay very close to Soto money.
Right. And you probably have to give up 3 or 4 players to him. And by the way, Toronto said they're not dealing him. So what is that lineup going to have? They're going to have Guerrero and Alonso and Bichette. And guess what? They might be better than the New York Mets when the whole thing is said and done. I don't want Jesse Winker being my first baseman. I want them to go out and get somebody else. If you don't want Pete Alonso, you better get me another star to play that position. We were supposed to contend this year. We were this close to playing the Dodgers in the World Series, and we have regressed because of this jerk that runs our organization. I wish he were not here anymore. I will tell you, if George Steinbrenner were running this show, everything would have been different.
Yeah.
And I'll say one more thing about Pete Alonso. They talk about his average going down, his power going down. Let me tell you something. Aaron Judge, who has had 260 home run seasons, let me explain to you how good Pete Alonso has been. He had no protection around him until Francisco Lindor.
I think he had only one 60 home run season.
That's right. He came
season.
very close last year.
Yeah.
One home run season where he hit 60. Pete probably will never hit 60, but he has the same amount of home runs going into this season as Aaron Judge. That should have told them something right there and how important he is. And can you imagine Pete Alonso in the lineup with Juan Soto? That would have been great protection.
Oh, yes, I agree.
Lindor in the front and Alonso behind, and he's in the middle. That's how you win a championship. You build from within, you stupid jerk David Stearns. You don't take away my team's best hitter and replace him with another one, and now he has to showcase your lineup. I hope Juan Soto can hit 40 or 45 home runs, but I don't like the way this is being done at all. And I think a lot of Met fans feel the same way.
The funny thing is, though, when Alonso was a free agent, very few teams, apparently he had no takers.
Right.
Very few teams were interested in him.
You can understand that to some degree.
Yeah.
When you hire Scott Boras, as you and I have said, you're hiring him for money. That's it.
That's another thing we got to deal with, Scott Boras.
Right.
When you hire Scott Boras, but the thing is, Scott Boras has this is a pattern with a lot of his clients.
Mm-hmm.
You wait till you let him wait all through the posts, all through the through spring training, everything like he did with Martinez, JD Martinez. He didn't even sign till like May.
Right.
This is a pattern with his clients.
And by the way, you brought up a good point about JD Martinez. Pete Alonso does not have a team at all right now.
Yeah.
He might have to sit through May and June or longer to get a deal with somebody.
Yeah.
Because there are two things that happened to Pete. Number one, he was offered a 7-year deal last
That's right.
year for $158 million. And I get why he didn't sign it, because Brandon Nimmo got 8 years for $200 million or more. So
that ticked him off.
That ticked off Pete Alonso, and I think he had a right to be ticked off because Brandon Nimmo, while he's improved as a player and he's a very good major league player now, Pete Alonso has always been the better hitter.
Oh, yeah.
Power.
And so why did they even sign him for 8 years?
They were desperate. They needed a center fielder. He was one of the few on the market. The Mets really wanted him. He'd improved every year, and they decided
to bring him back. Doesn't make sense to sign him for 8 years, but I know what you mean.
Pete Alonso, that was the point where he should have said, okay.
Throw everything out. Throw everything out.
I better sign with them for 7 years because I'll be ensured of getting my money the rest of my career.
Yeah.
Now he's basically been sent on an island floating down the water.
Yeah.
Hoping that somebody signs him.
Made a really big mistake. In all fairness, he made a really big mistake by turning down that contract.
Yes.
And
I will say that another thing about Pete Alonso, when you're talking about a franchise player, you don't want to talk about, and it's no offense to Darryl Strawberry, he has improved his life. He's gotten off drugs. He's not doing alcohol anymore. Great for him. He's a minister, changed his life around. I respect him big time now. But you look at David Wright. and you look at Pete Alonso, you have never heard one bad word about either of them. Those are the people that you want as your cornerstones of your team and your organization. And what David Stearns did is he ripped the soul out of Met fans by taking this guy away from us. Well, I'm a Met fan. I hope they do well this year without him, because it looks like we're going to have to. But I will say this to David Stearns: if I ever see you anywhere, it will take all the energy I have not to punch you in the face.
Well, pretty strong statement there. Anyway, going to football. The NFL Divisional playoffs are set as the Houston Texans visit the Kansas City Chiefs later on today. And actually, they're probably playing as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
And the Detroit Lions host the Washington Commanders tonight. I know you're very happy about that.
I am. I mean, the Commanders are an amazing story. The fact that they are past the first round, playing the Detroit Lions, a team that is clearly maybe the best team in the NFL, I am ecstatic.
Yeah.
I think no matter how this game turns out for the Commanders, they have won this season.
Yeah.
Because that team...
That was the surprise of the year.
Absolutely. Jalen Daniels made all the difference to that franchise.
Yeah.
I had a discussion last year with one of my friends, and I said to him, the Commanders will be a much better team when we have a new quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him we will be better than the Giants once that happens.
Yeah.
And it certainly did.
Sure did.
And it explains why you need to get a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones was here for 6 years. He got you to the playoffs once. And he has been a borderline mediocre at best quarterback in the NFL. Jalen Daniels is a star right now.
Yeah.
And his team is going to get better with him at the controls.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm happy, even if they get blown out tonight by the Lions, they've had a very successful season. They have proven to the NFL that you can turn things around in one season if you get the right personnel.
Yeah. Meanwhile, as far as the Texans and the Chiefs games, Chiefs game is concerned, hopefully let's just hope that the Texans don't get blown out.
Well, I have interesting feelings about this.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that wouldn't mind seeing the Bills and Chiefs or Ravens and Chiefs in the next round.
Oh, yeah.
Because you and I are not fans of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
But that series would be so interesting if they played each other.
Damn right.
Either one of them.
Right.
But there's a part of me has seen Houston play really well last week that thinks they have a chance to possibly beat Kansas City.
If they could do that, that would be the upset of the year.
That would be the upset of the NFL for the year, yes.
It sure as heck will. Yeah.
And I think the young quarterback they have in C.J. Stroud, it could happen.
Yeah.
The sad part for Houston is their number 1 and 2 receivers are hurt, which seems like Kansas City, as good a team as they are, they get a lot of breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Something always happens to the opposition. But we'll see. This could be a better game than we think.
Yeah. A lot of their games are close.
Kansas City
regular season
specialize all season long in winning games by 8 points or less. And my feeling is at some point the dam is going to burst. And they've been very fortunate, 15-1. You can't say they're not good there. They have a great record. They still have Kelsey, who will be a Hall of Fame tight end. You can say Patrick Mahomes is probably going to be there. He wins another title. But I think I see the possibility of them being upset in this round.
Interesting. Well, anyway, tomorrow the Los Angeles Rams visit the Philadelphia Eagles, and probably the biggest game of the 4 and biggest game of the year.
Yeah.
The Buffalo Bills hosting the Baltimore Ravens, and what could be the team most likely to knock off the Chiefs in the AFC Championship.
And you all remember last year the Ravens blew out the Bills 35-10.
That won't happen. I don't think that will happen.
I don't think that's happening this year.
No.
I have the Ravens winning this game, and not because of Lamar Jackson. The reason I think they will win is because they have Derrick Henry.
Yes, Derrick Henry. He's been the factor all year for them.
I mean, Lamar Jackson and the quarterback for the Bills, Josh Allen, are 2 of the best in the game.
Yes, they are.
But it seems like Lamar Jackson never has his best games in the playoffs. And Allen's had some trouble in the playoffs too. They have improved their teams. I mean, James Cook is a good running back for the Bills. He's given Josh Allen more freedom to run the offense. Their offense is good. I think the defense on the Bills is a little suspect. I like the Ravens defense. The game, I think, will be fairly close. I'm thinking it's going to be a 3-point or 7-point win for whoever wins this game.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have played like the MVPs of the league. I don't really know who I would vote for that award. They have been both superb. So I think Derrick Henry is going to be the difference for the Ravens.
Aha. And who do you think will be the difference for the Bills? I know, of course, other than Josh Allen.
I think with them, that's an interesting question. The running back could be James Cook, but they have a couple of very good tight ends on that team. A guy named Dawson is very good, and they have another one. They have an interesting offense. Their offense is different now. They throw the ball to more people in the offense. Josh Allen is still an incredible runner. Go
ahead.
But I think James Cook is also going to be a factor for the Bills.
I think that's probably what they also need if they're going to beat the Ravens. They, like you just said, they're throwing it to different receivers. That's what they probably have to do.
They spread it around much better.
They probably have to do that.
Almost the way Patrick Mahomes does.
Do that tomorrow, yeah.
But I think Derrick Henry is such a factor and such a talent. I mean, he's been the bellwether of the NFL for years as a top-notch running back.
Yeah.
I can't see him not doing well tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I think if I had to pick a score, I would say probably Ravens, let's say 27, Bills 23.
Okay.
Close game.
Right. It will be close. I'll definitely I can agree to that.
What do you think the score would be?
I would say 24-21.
Ooh, by a field goal.
Field goal, yeah.
Oh.
Either side.
Yeah. And if it comes down to that, I have to go Ravens. But remember, Tucker has not been as good this year.
Yeah.
And the Bills kicker has not been that great either. So that would be tough if it winds up being that.
Oh, yeah. And now going from the NFL to college. The college football championship is set. It's Notre Dame and Ohio State and the CFP title game taking place Monday night. Notre Dame beat Penn State 27-24 on January 9th, while Ohio State beat Texas 28-14 on January 10th. This should be some heck of a game.
Yes, this is interesting. I mean, you and I are huge USC fans.
Yeah.
So everybody who knows us knows we don't like Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But the Notre Dame team has upset a lot of teams that I didn't think they were going to beat.
Oh, yeah.
Including Penn State. I thought that would be a great game. It turned out to be. But Notre Dame has figured out ways to beat all these teams. They have a great defense, and they're very solid running game. And their quarterback is a little better than you think, Riley Leonard. He's improved his throwing abilities in the last year. And this is a team that has not won a title since 1988.
Wow.
So this may be their time to do it. They might be the team of destiny to do this. Ohio State has also had an interesting run. If you remember, they lost to Michigan, and people said, unless they win the title, Ryan O'Day, their head coach, will be toast. Well, here they are in the final game. And I think that Ohio State could win, but they have the ghost of failing enough times that Notre Dame could pull this off. As much as it pains me to say it, I think Notre Dame might be able to do this.
Yeah.
And I think it will be a close game. I can see maybe 20-16. Close game, but Notre Dame's defense has been amazing.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And that's what I think will do it for them. But also 1988.
Yeah.
They waited
33 years.
Yes, they've waited a very, very long time for another title. So this could be their moment.
Actually, it's 37 years.
37, yes.
37 years.
It's ironic.
That's part of the math.
That's the Mets also. How many years they haven't won a title. But Notre Dame,
actually, it's 39.
Yeah, 39. You're right. But ironically, I think there's something about the way Notre Dame plays this year.
Oh, yeah.
And they really believe in themselves, and they're really good. And I have to respect them as much as I don't like them.
Yeah.
Notre Dame will probably win by 4 points.
Okay, yeah. I'm thinking Notre Dame will probably pull this game off.
Yeah, It seems like they're the team of destiny, and everything's been going right for them.
Yeah, it's kind of like Notre Dame and the Yuck Eyes.
Yes. And then you can see by my friend's comment, we're not fans of Ohio State either. But we can see this being a barn burner.
Yes, it's going to be a hell of a game.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, our condolences to a baseball character, Bob Uecker, who is a lifetime 200 hitter, but batted 1,000 with fans with his wacky humor. For over 50 years, he was an announcer for the Milwaukee Brewers and played for the Braves, Phillies, Cardinals, and Braves, Phillies, and Cardinals.
And Cardinals, yes.
Yeah. And he was a character just as much on the field as he was off.
Yes, he was. I would refer to him as being the Don Rickles of baseball.
Yeah.
He had incredible humor. He could laugh at himself better than anybody I've ever seen. And he had the ability to deflect jokes so well. And you have to remember his history as a player. This is a man that played with Joe Torre and Hank Aaron.
Yeah.
And actually won titles.
And Bob Gibson.
And Bob Gibson.
Yeah.
And he was probably one of the worst players ever in the history of baseball.
Among the worst, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he was a backup catcher the whole time.
But he made it on the
circuit. He made it bigger outside the game than he did in the game.
He did Mr. Belvedere for years, a great convenient show.
Of course, the light beer commercials.
Yes. Oh, yes. He was known for those.
And he was an announcer not only for the Milwaukee Brewers, local announcer, but he was also announcer for ABC and other team, ABC,
and he
ABC
was a favorite of Johnny Carson. He was on many of those shows.
Yeah, and many of his shows.
Delivering incredible humor with a smile and deprecating humor as it could be. But this man was a sheer, intelligent guy who figured out how to make himself famous without having to be a great baseball player.
Yeah.
And to Bob Uecker, we will miss him, and we love him very much. And I think I would say the baseball world has lost one of their great people.
Yes, indeed.
90 years old. God bless you, Bob.
Yes, yes, yes. Rest in peace.
Yes.
Rest in peace, Bob Uecker. For Steve Ferguson, this is Pedro Hazel Jr. saying thanks for watching. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. And the internet address again is youtube.com/@Sportslines Plus. Okay, have a good weekend, everybody.
Have a great weekend. Good night, guys. Can we send this to